cube a week is all it takes. Um, so that's one of my favorite go-tos. And then after that, like Cookie Crumble or which is like a cookie place, just like little snacks that, I can come bring in. So I try not to spend too much or to think about it too much. Most of
Yep.
everything I do is that way.
So right now I have mugs that have cute little houses on and then say Cindy H. Johnson, Senior Transition Specialist. And now I got like some gourmet hot cocoa and a few things and put it in a box. And then, I had something about warm conversations or something like that. So that's my current pop by, but I'm going to deliver a couple this afternoon.
Perfect. Anyone else that's either watched the recording or was on the call have any takeaways from yesterday's master class? Or anyone want to share any wins for the past week or so?
I have a question. I just got on and I was listening to about your Popeyes. So you're talking about Popeyes to the actual to the actual community, right?
Yeah, to
Not
the assisted living community, like for the marketing director, executive director, activity director, and head nurse, and the person up at front. Those would be the people I would drop by things to, sometimes to them all and sometimes to them separately.
and how often?
I do mine once a month.
Once a month. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I generally we start off by going every single week with an item of value or a purpose to help really start building that relationship and give us opportunities to build relationships with, again, marketing director, executive director, activity director, and then as well as the head nurse and the receptionist or the concierge. Um, I think you can get away with doing it less. I just think in the beginning you do it that way. And then I just look at like for title reps, the title reps that usually get the most business are the ones that come by every single week. Now, the ones that come by and go, oh, can I help you with anything? Can I help you with anything? Those are ones that usually don't do too well, but the ones that are always trying to bring a value or bring something, you're like, okay, or can I show you this software? Can I show you this? I mean, that's how I got my title rep, and I've been now using her for 5 years. And just now, I'm actually giving another person an opportunity because they started coming by once a week and saying, "Hey, can I bring you value?" And he asked them a better way. He said, what can a title rep do to earn your business?" So I kind of do the same thing. I go to there and go, "What can I do to earn your guys' business? What can I do to have you guys, trust me with your future residents' business?" So, yeah. Anyone else have any questions or thoughts or um, anything of that nature? Any wins? So I
Well, I'll
think I'm
share another
like,
takeaway that you shared from yesterday.
yeah.
Just offering to make the phone calls, because what I hear from a lot of people is, oh, I follow up and they're like, oh, I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite ready. And then they call back in a month, I'm not quite ready. And, then all of a sudden they get busy and they hadn't made a call. And then the person has gone to another community. But, volunteering to make those calls and then offer some value like, oh, well, why aren't you ready? Oh, I have so much stuff. Oh, I have a solution for you. Oh, I don't know if I can afford it. Well, let's sit down and talk about it. Which what I'm hearing from a lot of people at the communities, they just, they're like, okay, you're not ready. I'll check in a month. So we can add some value that way.
Absolutely. And the most interesting thing that I've come across is I ask a lot of, like, almost every single time I tour, I always ask the marketing director, what did you do before this? Or what got you into the senior industry? And I'm going to say over 80% have no sales background, have no marketing background. Oh, I started out as the blah blah blah, or oh well, I was just looking for a job and this came across and I thought, oh yeah, I'd be perfect for that. So we get a lot of training and education and tidbits because most realtors are either in coaching platforms or the broker brings training. There's we're getting onslaughted with all this information. These people are not, and their corporate is like get more people. You do whatever you need to get, and they don't really have boots on the ground to know like what actually works in this community and what's working. So by bringing them value and showing them different things that can work, I mean, I'm so surprised that people just don't use social media, like even realtors themselves. Social media ads on Facebook and Instagram. It's like I mean, I just showed another realtor for $58. I hit the 6,787 people in my Facebook sphere. I hit them each 3.5 times, so there's 20,000 impressions. I had 4,700 views, and I had the most important part to me. I had 5 people reach out through an outbound link to set up an appointment. That's $10 for an opportunity to get in front of people for $58. Like, and if nothing else, I look at it as yes, that's great to get the 5 opportunities. To me, the bigger spot is there's 6,000 people that are seeing my face 3 times in a month period. They're not going to forget me. I can't make them use me. I just don't want them to forget about me. Like, don't not use me because you forgot about me is the main thing. And showing them how to do these things would bring tremendous value.
So
Um,
Cory,
yeah.
there's a recording on Kajabi, right? That
Yes.
that you did? Yeah.
For yesterday?
No, for the Facebook ads for how to
No,
do
that one is I'm basically doing a workshop for there might have been one in the past, but I'm
okay.
going to do basically a 3-day workshop. And people in the pack get a heavy discount on it. And it's going to show like how do you systematically engage with every single one of your Facebook followers and friends. Then what do you post to send out your vibe to find your tribe, or how do you build that confidence in your competence? And then the last day is going to actually be teaching you how to use Facebook ads to never be forgotten or always be remembered. Um, so
When's
yeah,
that happening?
it will be it'll
So
begin in next month. I was trying to do it
okay.
at the end of this month, but I just have way too much going on.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Perfect. Yeah, I will let everyone know and I'll post it in the group. And then again, I will give you guys a special discount code to at least it's at least going to be half off. And then you'll get the recording. And I promise, like it's going to be real actionable things, no theories. We're actually going to take the first day and actually everyone's going to jump on their Facebook, download their information, upload it into a CSV file, and then actually be able to systematically do it. It's been like wonders to my business of how I stay engaged and how I connect with people. Anyone else got any questions, any thoughts?
Hi, Cory, it's Ashley. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I just got off a call with a senior placement person, and she's going to be participating in our event next month, which is awesome. But we
Yeah.
brainstormed and talked about different things, and she kind of threw something my way I've never heard of. So she said that there are some realtors, is how I interpret it, and I'd love to hear if this is the case in your area, that they will do promissory notes with the family to help them get into their next, place that they're going to be moving into. And she continued to mention bridge loans, which I'm very familiar with what a bridge loan is, but she almost kind of made it feel like the realtor will sometimes do these promissory notes to then help the individual get into the senior living. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes. We have a whole program in it. First,
Okay.
so I don't, toot my own horn. There's a company called Elder Life, and I believe every agent should reach out to them. They have a realtor department that you'll get assigned to it. You'll get approved from them. They'll actually bring you leads. Not a lot. I mean, I got 2 leads last year from them. I think the more you get involved with them and the more you stay involved with them, the more leads you'll get. But I ended up building my own program. But they will fund long-term care, move-in costs, like basically all the different types of costs. Their caveat is one of the adult children or somebody has to get approved with Elder Life. Um, but yeah, they will fund that money. I have a program called the Care Bridge program where we will fund long-term care, move-in costs, transition costs, legal costs, repairs, maintenance, the whole kit and caboodle. Um, and we'll do it for a minimum of 3 months and then a maximum of 3 years. The one that we do for 3 years, usually we're trying to eliminate capital gain taxes. So we want them to have enough money to move in to get the care they need right away, but we don't want them to have to sell the house right away because we want them to eliminate capital gain taxes. So I would say every realtor should reach out to your cash buyers, reach out to your private money lenders, reach out to even your mortgage lenders and say, can we design something like this? Unless you have the wherewithals to do it yourself, and build a little program. Charge 10 to 12% interest and make it flat interest, meaning whether they use it for 90 days or 1 year, you're charging the 10 to 12% the money. Because a lot of times they're going to need 10, 20, $30,000. So that 10% isn't astronomical, and you have to make it worth a while for your investors. Then we charge 2 to 4 points. It's like an origination thing, and that's usually what we share with ourselves as the realtor, or if there's a referral partner, something to there. We use that as like our way of making a little bit of extra money. When it comes down to it, it's cheaper than a credit card. But if they can go get a loan, that would, be maybe cheaper. Usually bridge loans, they want a bigger amount, but they can't do it for such a small amount. And sometimes there's, the different fees that come along with that as well. So I always give the option to the families. And they usually find it like even just offering it, they find it as a big advantage. And I actually now go into the community saying I have this program. And one of the questions I ask is, has there ever been a time where someone needs to move in, but they can't because they need to sell their house first? Well, in that period, I will pay for them to get moved in right away, and we'll deal with the house later. I do it more than a promissory note. So we will actually do a deed of trust. The promissory note have to have the listing, or one of my agents has to have the listing. And then they have to, the seller has to sign a seller paid invoice. And I will actually reach out to the escrow company and say, look, this is what we're going on. The seller is agreeing to this. So before we even loan out the money, all those things have to be notarized. And usually I'll have a third party, usually like a family member or church member, someone outside of them that says, look, they're choosing to do this. They understand what they're signing, and they're know that this is not the only option, but this is just the option that they chose to do. So yeah, there's a hand up. I think it's Jessica. Okay, let me. Yeah. But yeah, so I would suggest, like, again, the way I started was I literally went to one of my cash investors and was like, hey, we invest into properties together. We do fix and flips together. I have this program and I will secure it, but I think our rate of return will actually be pretty well, because generally it's a 90-day turnaround. They get into the community, we fix up the home, we put it on the market, we get it sold 90 to 120 days, and they're making 10 to 12%, which in theory is making like 20 to 30% annualized return, which is a pretty good return for investors.
Now, you said fix up the home. So are you including those kind of services a part of it, like different handyman, painting? What does that look like?
Yeah, I everything, anything that it needs to happen, staging, repairs, painting, replacing carpet, all that stuff. The main thing that I've learned, and we got burned one time, and so after that, we don't give the money to the family member or the client directly. We pay all the vendors directly. We pay the communities directly. We'll put the money into our account, and as the community needs get paid every single month, we'll pay them directly. It's just you put into their account, all kinds of things can happen. So we don't put into their account anymore.
Do you think that the concept that you're talking about, can an individual agent like myself do it with vendors, or do you think you really have to really pull it in and you have to do it yourself to really be successful?
No, I think the success in it is being able to offer this to your clients. And if you have like my stager, I can go to her at any point in time and say, hey, can you stage for free? And then when we close escrow, I'll get you back your staging fee. And they say yes. There's some contractors that have their own financing through HARP, I think it's called. Um, But yeah, I mean, the more vendors you get involved and the more that are willing to see like, hey, this house is going to sell. They're moving to assisted living and they're going to sell it. You're going to get your money back. And then just again, I always tell people just put 10 to 12% interest onto it. It at least allows them to know that they're going to make more, it's going to be an advantage to them and they're going to make some money off.
Cool.
And the family just needs to understand, like, look, your other alternative is to not get the care that they need right away. And if that happens, and sometimes like I've had a family member say, hey, I need $30,000. We talked about it. And then right before we actually funded it, they said, you know what? The family member is going to come up with 20,000. Can you just loan us 10? It's like, yeah, we can loan you 10,000. So I think the most thing that I would say is make sure you get everything notarized and make sure there is a third party. There is a older son or, adult son, adult daughter. Make sure they sign off on it because you lend it, everything goes well, you close escrow, resident, client, senior, happy as can be. Son finds out that, you charge 12% interest and they blow their gas stick and they try to say that it was elder abuse and they took advantage of someone. So I would say like, if you're going to go to the doctor and you found out really bad news, which one of your kids would you go to for advice? Or if you're a financial planner, you found out took a bunch of money, which sibling would you or which child would you go to say, hey, this person took advantage of me? Like that's the person I want involved, is the one that's going to be the problem solver or the one that comes in to rescue. Let them come in and really make sure they understand what's going to be done. And I was telling them like, hey, if you guys have the money, by all means, you guys can do it. I mean, I like this is just an option to help her get the care or help him get the care that they need.
Have you ever had children push back on that and say, no way, this is crazy?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, and it's generally the oldest son or the youngest son. Oldest son because of security and he's doing well and blah blah blah. Mom, why didn't mom come to me and ask me? Youngest son because he feels that that's his money and his inheritance that he's going away. When we, it's like even at $100,000, we're charging $12,000 when it comes down to it, maybe $16,000, but it gets them the care they need. They don't have to worry about anything for the year. Um, when it comes down to it, and we go, okay, by all means, I don't have to do this. This was an option. She said she needed the care right away. I was trying to find that option. And they go, okay, well, well, we're going to do it ourselves. And generally, a
They
couple
do not.
weeks later, 10 days later, they call back and say, oh, is that still available? Yes, of course it's still available. But now I need you to sign something that says you're saying that this is a good option and you're agreeing that mom should take this. Again, because I'm in California. I don't want anyone to be able to come back and say I took advantage of someone or elder abuse or anything like that.
Exactly. We're in New Jersey, so same
Yeah,
thing.
you're probably
But
in the
it's
same boat.
interesting. Exactly,
Yeah.
right? But it's interesting because I I have, some flippers and, some investors. And again, we're in New Jersey. It's still pretty short here as far as inventory. That's an option to go to them to see if that's something that they'd be interested in. But again, kind of like what Ashley said, I'm just a regular agent. I'm not like you. We all look up to you. Um, you need to do a class on this too. I don't know if I would have the confidence to even go to my investors to mention this, at least not
I
yet.
will throw
So
this out to everybody. If you guys have an investor that you want to propose this to, set up a Zoom meeting and we'll pitch it to them. Okay.
cool.
You don't have to use it through my program. I mean, I'm an idea person. My ego gets up like, hey, that was a brilliant idea. And if someone else says it's a brilliant idea, that's where I get fulfilled. I don't need to make monetary gain on it, but this program is good. And I think another one that could be done, you know, that would be connected to this. Let's say we have a distressed home, which a lot of the homes that we're going to be dealing with are distressed. Instead of having an all cash investor buy it and flip it, go to your investors and say, hey, I want to do this program where I want to treat this home like a new construction home. So we're going to put it on the market as is, and we're going to let every buyer know whatever they want to do to the house, we'll do so in escrow. And this investor will put the funds in and help his team will do the flip per se. And then when they sell it, they're going to get back their money plus a percentage of the return, or, it's like we do a minimum of 25%. So if I put in $200,000, I'm making $250,000 back on my money, which is great for a fix and flipper to make that type of return on their money. Generally, fix and flippers make right now margins are tight about 10 to 15%. And they usually have to buy the house and pay for the rehab, or go get a hard money loan, which then eats away at their profit, because then they're paying 10 to 12% plus 2 to 4 points. Cindy, you have a question.
Yeah, well, I wanted to share my experience. I had a family that it was a really, really tough situation, and she needed to go to assisted living. She had no money. She had negative money. There were 4 kids. None of them had any money. And I presented this idea to them, and I premised it by saying, I know this isn't the best option financially, but right now I feel you don't have any other options. So I want to present this to you. The mom and 3 of the 4 kids were like, yeah, let's just do it. We got to move. Well, 2 days later, I got a call from the county.
Hmm.
So, asking me about it. And then, in the end, the county stepped in to just help them because it was such a horrible, horrible situation. But I was like, oh my gosh, because it was very accusatory. Like, asking me what I did for my business and why I'm trying to make money off of them. I'm like, the loan isn't even mine. I'm not the one making the interest or anything. So that was my very first experience with it. So I have a cousin that does hard money lending. And so he has stepped forward, and we're kind of exploring this option and, kind of learning through that. But yeah, my very first presentation, and I get a call from the county.
Yeah, no, I mean, that would be a little shocking. And that's why I say, like, always make sure the family, like, could you imagine if you would have presented it just to the client?
Yeah.
They thought it was a great idea. You did it. All of a sudden, the kid comes. Now that's where you can get in trouble for elder abuse. Like, because they're going to say you took advantage of it. Because we do ours as technically as a business loan, because we're paying the businesses directly. So
Mhm.
we're doing ours as a business loan, and we're just attaching a trust deed to the property saying this is how we're going to make our money back. So it's like the businesses are putting that trust deed on there. Um, I bet someone could take me to court for it. I mean, there's probably some lawyer out there that would, say it, but for the most part, that's why we get so many people involved. We get the notary involved, and we're doing a good service. So, but all it takes is one. I mean, like, one of my biggest investors won't do it because he's like, dude, it takes one deal, even for $30,000, and all the deals that we just did this year are wiped out because there's not enough profit into it. Even though we look as an investor, we're like, dude, you're making 20 to 30% annualized. Where else can you do that? You can't. But at the same time, sometimes it's just about protecting yourself. So again, I give some caveat and some hesitation of just be careful. Definitely, again, I believe get your listing agreements notarized, get your disclosures notarized. Anything that you do with someone that's 72 years or older, get it notarized. Because at least there's a third party in there saying, like, hey, no, she knew what she was signing, or he knew what she was signing. Because all it takes is a couple phone calls, and the county can be on you. So yeah. And the same with our dream home program. Like, my broker hates my dream home program, but I don't care because I know it's a good thing. And ultimately, new construction has been doing this for decades. So why can't a home that's already existed done it? Um, it's different than a novation per se, because a novation, usually the investor comes in, says, okay, seller, I'm going to pay to fix this house up. They kind of mislead them on how much they're going to fix up the home or what they're actually going to do. They spend $5,000, $10,000, they sell the home, and then they get the big profit margin. We don't do it that way. We allow the seller to get most of the value add. So if we're like one instance, the house was $400,000 as is for an all cash investor. We put $150,000 into it. We ended up selling the house for $675,000. We made our 25%, which is about 35, 40,000, somewhere around there. And the client made an extra 60 to $70,000 more than they were going to make at the 400,000. So it's like, well, they made a lot of money, and they didn't have to do anything. And that house was like, it was a hoarder's house, like where the lady's health was being damaged and she had all kinds of illnesses. And 3 months after removing her from the house, her health was back. She lost a bunch of weight. She was, in a really good spot when we thought she was actually gonna. That's why we sold the house. We thought she was gonna pass away. That's why she sold the house because she thought she would pass away.
So,
Um,
Cory, so is that type of home marketed on MLS or is this an off market? So then,
no.
okay, so if the house sold as is 400, like, do you list it at, talk to me about how that works. I mean,
So
do you,
all of my listings get listed 10 to 20 to 30% under market value. I don't care if it's turnkey or it's not. I always way under market my homes.
Mhm.
So this one, like on the distress home, I get really severe about it. So there was a house we listed at 599. We ended up getting 950,000 as is. Because when you list it so low, you have everybody coming. You have investors coming. You have first-time homebuyers coming, VAs, people with their grandparents. You have everybody coming going, I can't believe this house is so cheap. Okay, good. It's like an auction. So everybody comes in. Now there's lots of people in the house going through the house. And then you tell everyone this house is part of our dream home program. Either you want change, update, or remodel, we can do an escrow just like new
Okay.
construction. What we're all competing at first is the as is price. So everybody's going to put their as is price, what they would buy the home as is. People that want the dream home program, you're going to put in an addendum. I want to pursue the dream home program. These are the kind of things that I want done to it. We will then meet with our designers and our contractors the next day for everyone that's to do the dream home program, and we'll walk through and they'll tell us what they want to do, and we'll give them like a firm bid of saying, okay, if you want all this stuff done, we're gonna instead of the house being 599, it's going to be 1.2. And they'll say, okay, well, we can do that or we can't do that. Well, now the as is price buyers are going to have to come up because we know it costs $200,000. So they're going to have to come up to compete with this 1.2 offer, which is really like a a little over nine and change offer. So a lot of times we don't even have to do the dream home program because the as is buyer pays way too much for it, where it actually doesn't make sense for the seller to wait 2, 3, 4 months to do this rebuild rather than just taking the as is buyer or cash buyer. But I will say, if I didn't have that program, the cash buyers probably would have stopped at like 650 because they want to have the big margins in there and they know that they wouldn't have to compete against the end use buyer. So, yeah, but I mean, I generally will never sell a house off market unless, like, I had one and it was a really good town. The seller just said, look, I'm embarrassed how my house is. I don't even want my neighbors in here. I don't want my neighbors to know I'm selling until it's sold. And then people can come in because I'll be gone. And their house wasn't even that bad. They were just in like most of the houses were like 1.5 to like 2.5 million. And their house hadn't been touched since the 80s. And I guess they never let anybody in their house. It wasn't hoarded, but they did have the same shag carpet from the 80s. They had this pink carpet in one of their bathrooms. Like, they were just embarrassed. And it's just, I mean, I just met another client on Friday. She has at least a $1.3 million home, and she's literally living off of Social Security, can't take her dog to the vet because she can't afford it. And she's sitting on $1.3 million of equity. I'm like, you are a broke millionaire. That doesn't even make sense to me. Like, you could do a reverse mortgage, don't need any proof of income, and at least be like enjoying the quality of your life. So we're actually going to sell it, do a reverse mortgage purchase, and she's going to take about $200,000 to enjoy her life. She's going to go on a cruise. She's going to travel around the world. And I'm like, you should do that. I mean, this is your house. You earned it. Enjoy your life, live a high quality life, and then have a little condo to come back to and not have any payments. Um, so those are kind of things. But Yeah.
Okay. But she's in California. Are there even like little 200,000? You said she'll walk away with 200,000. Like,
No. She has 1.3 million. So
okay.
she's going to
Okay.
take of that 1.3 million. So let's say 1.2, she's going to take $200,000 and go travel with it. Then
Gotcha.
she's going to take $400,000 and buy an $800,000 condo with a reverse mortgage for purchase.
Okay.
And then the other, they say like 300 to 400,000, we're going to give to a financial investor or financial planner to invest on her behalf, so that she's not going to have any payments. She'll have money invested coming in above her Social Security, and she's going to have $200,000 to, I call it off money. Like she can just go F off. Like, and I told her, even if you lose this $200,000 in one day, you are still financially secure. And you're better off than being stuck in a home that's basically like she has a roof leak now. She can't afford, new windows. Like she's starting to see that her house is just going to start being worth less and less and less.
$1 million
Yeah,
benefit. Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, it's weird to think that you have a $1.3 million, distressed home, but that's California for you, or at
And
least
that's
where I
just
live.
it, though. It makes you wonder where, again, California, New Jersey, it's hard for a lot of these people there's not a lot that you can jump. I see a lot of people in those nicer homes, but then there's nothing to even downsize to. It's almost like an equal move, even if they're going, whether it's a 55 plus
I think
community or.
Yeah, I think if you look more into the reverse mortgage for purchase, because then they don't need to take all their equity out and put it into the next home, take half of it, and the other half they can invest in and have a higher quality of life. But they more than likely are going to have to go down to, like, she's looking at a two-bedroom condo right on the water, or not right on the water, but near the water for 800,000. So she's selling 1.3, she's going to 800,000, but she's going to have an extra 400,000 because she's not going to get a loan with it. She's going to get a reverse mortgage purchase.
Is your reverse mortgage person like a national person or are they just local? I guess again, it goes back to me being like the regular person. I don't
Yeah,
know. If I just
yeah,
Google reverse mortgage, like I
I
trust
think
it's what your contacts are.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem. I don't know if he does all 50 states, but I have no problem doing it. But like Optimum Funding, I think is nationwide. They're a great reverse mortgage company. I would say go to your like senior industry networking groups. There'll be a reverse mortgage person that shows up, or ask people who do they use for the reverse mortgages. I like personal relationships, so I like being able to like, especially dealing with the senior market, my person can help you, but is your client going to feel comfortable jumping on the Zoom or, being on the phone call? They're probably going to want them to go meet in person. Most of the clients I have that are older want someone to come and meet them in person. So
But
I try to
often
find,
funding. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Optimum Funding. I'll try to think of there's another national company. I'll try to locate his number as well.
And then
Um,
we can at least have our own relationship. But as long as it's like a reputable company and I guess can any lender do this or no?
most lenders have a reverse mortgage lender, like broker, or this bank that they work with.
Right.
Um, your main thing is like there's the reverse mortgage for purchase, the standard, FHA loan lenders. There's also banks that have their own reverse mortgage for like reverse mortgage products. And I would say look for those ones because they'll have some unique products. Like we have one that does a second reverse mortgage so that someone doesn't have to touch their first, they can just do it on their second, and it's almost like a home equity conversion mortgage. Um, Sometimes it doesn't make sense to, if you have a 2 or 3% rate, why would you do that into a reverse mortgage?
So
And
I could
sometimes it's short
call a
term,
lender.
yeah,
If I have a lender that I trust, I could
Yes.
even ask them like who they know that
100%.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I did. And my person that I've worked with for years and years had a reverse mortgage person that she knew and trusted. So
Right.
that's
You don't want to just Google it and ooh.
But I wouldn't be afraid of Googling either, because I mean, that's how I found my estate planner, and he's the number one in the country. And it was literally not even I did, it was my 22-year-old teammate. I told him, go on Google and look for the person with the most reviews, and then call him up and set up an appointment. And we did, and it literally was like, he's like the number one estate planner in the country as far as volume goes of how many people he helps out. So I wouldn't be afraid to go to Google, look at the reviews, actually read the reviews. Do they look fake? and then, go and talk to them, interview, and just say, hey, can I talk to three of your clients that have had a good result or a good experience with you? Because I just, these are my most valuable clients, the most vulnerable clients. I really got to. And to me, I don't think they'd be insulted by that. I think they'd be like, yeah. And actually, speaking of it, can I speak to three of your clients? So if you don't have three clients, just say one of your clients, like whatever you can give to them, ask from them. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to go in Google or LinkedIn or Alignable. I wouldn't be afraid to go to any of those to find people. Just vet them, meet them in person, talk to someone that they've worked with before. Um, and then give them one client. And I usually like whenever, this is kind of Paul's technique as well. Whenever you want to refer someone, introduce them, get on the phone with them, sit down with them. So, like my first time I used the reverse mortgage person, I went with the client to the lender's office, and we sat down and we just talked about a whole bunch of different things. Same with financial planners, tax planners. Like I always go with them in that first introduction meeting to really make sure that everyone's comfortable, no one feels pressured or obligated, but as well as like there's sometimes that they know what they know and they're in their box, and sometimes it just takes someone saying, hey, can we just think outside a little bit? Or what if we, like financial planners, you go to them, they would want the $1.3 million, and I'm like, okay, but we're not going to do that, but we're going to do this, and oh, actually that makes more sense. My financial planner, we've done the capital gain tax strategies together, and did seminars together. He referred me someone, and I was mistaken that I thought he had, coached her through it. And we were just about to close escrow. I'm like, hey, if you guys wanted to use the money, why didn't we do a loan first? Oh, no one told us about that. And I called up Mike and I was like, Michael, wait, like, oh, dude, I totally forgot. I'm like, so now I usually try to do all the conversation strategy sessions together, try to get everybody in one room so we can collectively work together and think of different things.
Do you do it on
I
Zoom or in person?
I usually try to do things on purpose and in person. That's generally how I like to do things. If not, Zoom is a okay thing. And people, I don't believe we need to do hundreds of deals to be successful. So some people are like, how do we do all these appointments? Like, because we just give specialized care. And if we're doing 20 to 30 transactions, that leaves a lot of leeway for days to do these type of things. But I'm embarrassed. I have to go because I'm going to the Genesis Open today, and I realized I ran a little over. But I know we next month, well, next Thursday we're going to do coaching, and I believe group coaching, and I believe everyone's going to be allowed to go on it, even if you're not a member, but just members will be able to ask their questions. And then the next month we're going to be focusing on how to build up your board of directors, your partnerships, your 20th plenty, your family of companies, all our resources. So that's what we're going to focus on next month in the members group. All
So
right.
Corey,
I
real
thank you guys
quick,
so much.
can I ask
Um,
real quick
yeah,
about
go ahead.
yesterday's call I missed? And I
Mhm.
don't know where to find it.
Jessica, are you listening?
Kindness and precision.
Hi. It is up on the Kajabi website. Um, and
I mean, I went in there while we've been on the call trying to see it. I mean, what I go into is the $27 a month
Mhm.
membership. Is it in that? I'm still doing the
Yep,
modules in there
yep, it's in there. It's under master classes.
under master classes.
And
Okay.
then there's going to be several different lessons under there for each master class.
Okay. Thank
Each week
you.
will be under there, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Jessica, do you think we could maybe you do a Zoom recording of you like logging in, going to the different master classes, and then we can post that on the group page, the member page, and that way new members can go, okay, this is, and pin it up at the top so they can do that. Because at
Yeah.
least I don't think I mean, I know you're not the only one that has had issues,
Yeah.
and we've gone through different things. So,
No, that was brought up yesterday at the end of the call. So I looked to see if there was like a how-to and I didn't see one, so I will make one either today or this weekend and get it up there for everybody.
Okay. Thank you. I'm looking
You're
at
welcome,
I'm
Lisa.
looking at mastermind classes, so I see 3 there. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So
All
you,
right.
yeah, because all of them will be posted up there, just like our LFG calls. Those go on YouTube and they also go on the Kajabi site as well.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
And then
You're
the
appreciate
welcome,
last
guys.
thing that I would just ask you guys is if you get anything out of the LFG calls, the master classes, if you can go on the public Facebook group and just say, I learned this today, or besides Corey's bald head, I actually enjoyed the class. Something, because it really does go a long way because we're really trying to build up the membership site and also get more people on the LFG calls because that's how we're going to keep staying here. All right. I
All
thank
right.
you guys all. And yeah, let me know if we can help. Okay.
Thank you.